Lone wolves are a special breed. They are the kind of people who prefer to go alone, and they are often misunderstood. If you're a lone wolf, you might be seen as aloof or even antisocial. But the truth is, lone wolves are just independent thinkers who like to do things their own way. While they might not be the life of the party, they are often the ones who get things done. If you're a lone wolf, you might recognize some of these traits in yourself. 1. They are free spirits who live life on their own terms. While lone wolves might not be the most social people, they are certainly not afraid to speak their minds. They are the kind of people who march to the beat of their own drum and do things their own way. This independent streak can often be mistaken for aloofness, but in reality, lone wolves just don't conform to societal norms. Not because they are trying to be different, but because they are not afraid to be themselves. When you're a lone wolf, you don't need anyone's approval to do what you want. People might not understand you, but that's okay. You're comfortable in your own skin, and you know who you are. 2. They are very private individuals. Lone wolves don't feel the need to share every detail of their lives with others, and they are usually pretty selective about who they let into their inner circle. This can make them seem mysterious or even cold to those who don't know them well, but it's just how they prefer to operate. They don't feel the need to share their every thought and feeling with the world, and they are perfectly content keeping some things to themselves. This doesn't mean that they are not open or honest with the people they care about, but they usually don't feel the need to bare their souls to everyone they meet. 3. They recharge through alone time. Lone wolves need time to themselves in order to recharge and feel their best. They are not the type of people who are always surrounded by other people. They need time alone to relax and rejuvenate, and they are not afraid to take it. This can be difficult for those who are used to being around people all the time, but it's just the way lone wolves operate. People often mistake the need for alone time as a sign that someone is antisocial or doesn't like others, but that's not the case with lone wolves. They actually love deep conversations but don't like talking about trivial things like the weather or what they had for lunch. Of course, they are perfectly capable of small talk when the situation calls for it, but they usually prefer to talk about more meaningful things. 4. They don't beat around the bush. Lone wolves are direct and to the point. They don't sugarcoat things or try to make them sound better than they are. This can sometimes come across as rude or insensitive, but it's just how they prefer to communicate. They don't believe in playing games or beating around the bush, and they would much rather just say what they mean. This can be a refreshing change for those who are used to dealing with people who are always trying to spare their feelings. They might not always say what you want to hear, but at least you'll always know where they stand. While this directness can sometimes be off-putting, it's also one of the things that people admire about lone wolves. 5. They are introspective. They are always thinking about who they are and what they want in life. They are constantly reflecting on their own actions and motivations, and they are always looking for ways to improve. This introspection can sometimes be mistaken for insecurity, but in reality, it's just a way for lone wolves to stay in touch with themselves. It's how they learn and grow, and it's one of the things that makes them so strong. Lone wolves are always looking inward, which can be both a strength and a weakness. On one hand, it allows them to reflect on their own actions and motivations. On the other hand, it can sometimes lead to overthinking and indecision. But overall, introspection is a positive trait that helps lone wolves stay in touch with themselves. 6. They are fiercely independent and self-sufficient. They like to do things their own way and don't like to rely on others. They are self-sufficient and don't need anyone's help to get things done. People might see them as being stubborn, but they just prefer to do things their own way. If you're a lone wolf, not everyone understands your need for independence, but that's okay. You know that you can rely on yourself and you're not afraid to go it alone. While others might see you as being independent, you also know how to work well with others when you need to. You're not afraid to ask for help when you need it, and you're always willing to lend a hand to others. You just prefer to do things your own way, and you're not afraid to go against the grain. 7. They are comfortable being alone. Lone wolves are perfectly content spending time by themselves. In fact, they often prefer it. While some people might see this as a sign of loneliness, lone wolves see it as a chance to recharge and reset. They are perfectly happy being on their own, and they don't need constant companionship to feel fulfilled. This doesn't mean that lone wolves don't like spending time with others. They can be perfectly social when they want to be, but not being around people doesn't bother them either. When you're a lone wolf, you're used to doing things alone. And while some people might see this as a negative trait, you see it as a chance to focus on your own goals and dreams. Having this mindset can help you stay motivated and focused on what's important to you. 8. They have an introverted personality. Lone wolves are often introverted, meaning they prefer to spend time alone or in small groups. They are not shy, but they do tend to be more independent and self-sufficient than other people. This doesn't mean they don't enjoy socializing, but they usually prefer to do so on their own terms. They are not the type of people who are always looking for the next party or always need to be surrounded by other people. They are perfectly content spending time alone, and they often find large groups of people overwhelming. While they are not the life of the party, lone wolves usually have a few close friends to whom they are extremely loyal. They might not have a lot of acquaintances, but the relationships they do have are usually very strong and meaningful. 9. They are intrinsically motivated and don't need anyone else to validate their actions. They do things because they want to, not because they think it will please others. They are motivated by their own internal drives, and they don't need anyone's approval to feel good about themselves. This often confuses other people, but it's just the way lone wolves operate. When everyone else is worried about what other people think, lone wolves are busy living their own lives and doing what they want. While some people might see this as selfish, lone wolves know that they have to take care of themselves first and foremost. They can't please everyone, and they are okay with that. They know how to focus on their own happiness and well-being, and they don't let the opinions of others get in the way of that. While being a lone wolf can have its challenges, it's also a very rewarding way to live. Those who embrace their lone wolf status often find themselves happier and more fulfilled than those who try to fit into society's mold. So if you consider yourself a lone wolf, embrace it. It might not always be easy, but it's definitely worth it.